The richer you get, the louder you've probably been telling people about it. And that exact habit is the opposite of what Machiavellian wealth actually looks like once someone really has power. Here's the uncomfortable part. You think showing people what you have makes you look powerful. It doesn't. It makes you a target, a calculation, a problem someone else is quietly trying to solve. The people who actually run things learn this lesson early, and almost nobody around you has figured it out yet. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Vertex Vision. Today we're getting into how money actually works once you strip away the lifestyle content and the flexing, and look at what people with real influence understand that everyone else doesn't. By the end of this, you'll see why the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest one in it. Let's start with what's happening inside you, because money doesn't build character, it reveals it. Psychologist Paul Piff at the University of California, Irvine, ran a study using rigged games of Monopoly, where one player was secretly given far more starting money than the other. Within minutes, the wealthier players started behaving differently, talking louder, moving their pieces more aggressively, even commenting on how they clearly deserved their advantage. Nothing about who they were had changed except the money in front of them, and suddenly who they really were became visible. That's the entire principle. Wealth doesn't install new traits. It removes the cover that was hiding the old ones. This is why the obsession with looking successful is actually a warning sign, not a flex. If your sense of self gets bigger every time your bank account does, that's not confidence. That's dependency wearing a nice outfit. The internal work has to come first, because money will eventually find whatever is already living inside you and turn the volume all the way up. But here's the part nobody talks about. Once that internal foundation is steady, the next layer is behavioral, and it's about what you do with information and access, not just money itself. Think about how most people handle a skill or a system that's working for them. They want to teach it immediately, post about it, explain every step. It feels generous, but there's a reason certain families and certain companies have stayed powerful for generations while sharing almost nothing about how they actually operate. A few years ago, a well-known productivity influencer built a huge following by openly sharing his exact business systems, and within a year, dozens of nearly identical competitors had copied his entire model, undercutting him on price. He gave away the one thing that made him valuable, the parts nobody else could replicate. That's the behavioral shift. Build things that work. Get results people can see, but hold back the full mechanism behind it, not out of insecurity, but because once someone can fully duplicate you, your leverage disappears. Mystery isn't dishonesty. It's just understanding that not everything needs an explanation. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, because the final piece isn't about money at all. It's about how you show up around other people. Watch what happens to your relationships the moment your financial situation changes. Even slightly, people who were warm before can suddenly feel distant, or strangely competitive, or oddly interested in details they never asked about before. That's not random. There's a quote, usually used to describe how political leaders win public trust through their actions rather than their words, that fits perfectly here. Niccolo Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Most people in your life are responding to the version of you they can observe from a distance. The job title, the car, the vacation photos. Very few of them have actually been close enough to know what you're really like under pressure. And that gap is exactly where most resentment and most loyalty quietly get decided. Most people stop here. Don't. Because the second quote takes this somewhere most people never expect. Machiavelli also wrote something usually applied to rulers managing threats to their power, but it lands just as hard on personal freedom. He wrote, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." My interpretation here has nothing to do with bossing people around. It's about your relationship with your own needs. The less you need from other people, financially, emotionally, for validation, the less anyone can quietly steer your decisions without you noticing. Command starts with not needing permission. So here's why all of this actually matters today, not someday. Most people spend years trying to look successful, when the entire game is about becoming someone who doesn't need to. The internal work determines who you become once money shows up. The behavioral work determines how long your advantage lasts. And the social work determines who actually stays around you once they stop seeing dollar signs. If any of this reframed how you think about money and the people around it, hit that like button. It really does help. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this one, and I'll catch you in the next video. This has been Vertex Vision.